All right, guys, we are going to make some bagels out of the king himself, Fernando. And hopefully it goes well. I haven't made bagels in a really, really long time. So we'll see how this goes. I warmed up a little bit of water and let it cool down a little bit so it wasn't too hot. So I'm going to start by measuring that. All right, hopefully, yeah, it's like just above body temperature, so it should be just fine. I'm going to put in my sourdough starter. I just did the float test, so it is nice and bubbly and active. And we're gonna get that going in here. Ooh, it's floating. It's always a good sign.
Mom, can I see?
Ooh, I put in a little too much sourdough, but that's okay.
Can I see?
We'll survive. You can stand right there, yeah.
Can you scoot this that way?
All right, so I did over pour my sourdough just a little bit, but I think it's gonna be okay. It's not too much. Get this whisked together. It is nice, you can't really see it, but it is nice and floaty and bubbly. Let's see if I can show you. There it is. He's so happy. All right, now I'm going to whisk this together. I don't have a fancy sourdough whisk thing that a lot of people use because quite honestly, it just doesn't seem like it's that important. I'm gonna go ahead and pour, I don't have honey. The recipe does call for honey, but I don't have any, so I'm just gonna use some brown sugar. I've done this before in other bagel recipes and it's worked out just fine. So I'm gonna pour some brown sugar in there. What's that?
I like to try whisking.
Can you do the salt when I put the salt in? Okay. Thank you.
How much? Is it
I already have it pre-measured, so when it's time, you can do that. All right, he is bubbly and throwing a little bit of a tantrum in there. I don't know if you can see it.
What is he throwing the tantrum about?
That means he's happy and he's active. And this one, I'm gonna start with a smaller amount of flour because sometimes, depending on how humid it is or how stiff the dough is getting, I won't use all the flour. So it says to do about 560 grams of flour. I'm gonna probably start with like maybe 400 and we'll kind of go from there. So
can I pour some into?
My son would like to be the one to put the flour in, so we're gonna let him do that.
Oh, a full cup?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not a full cup.
It's okay. There you go. Okay, do one more. He's measuring, he's leveling the flour.
Oh, that's probably not gonna fit.
We're working on 6-year-old time. It's okay. Good job. Okay, can you do one more? My children really enjoy baking, so they are starting to learn a lot of tips and tricks about how to properly measure things. Okay, go ahead and put it in, please. Thank you.
Is that it?
Okay, so that's 420 grams. I'm actually gonna stop there for right now. And I'm gonna just kind of get my fork in there to kind of start getting the flour incorporated a little bit. This is actually gonna be mixed with my dough hook eventually.
What's your dough hook?
It's the hook of the stand mix. I pre-measured my salt because I have a tendency to do my salt at the end and I just don't want it to kind of get too salty if it's like not accurately measuring it. So this is about 10-11 grams of salt. Okay, go ahead.
And here it comes. There's the salt. Done.
There you go. And just a minute, please. This one I'm gonna actually just kind of knead into the dough. So I'm gonna have him go ahead and measure out 1 more cup of flour.
Okay, coming up. I'm fancy measuring this. And the person who's measuring is actually fancy measuring.
Yes, because he's leveling the flour. Okay, don't do it all at once. Do a little bit, please.
It's very compacted.
Yes, but I don't want it all in there because it might dry out the dough. So just do about half of that.
was gonna do this. Okay. I'm gonna use. That's half, technically,
Do a couple more, please.
on the bottom.
Okay. Let's start with that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Clown noise. I got that. I'm sorry. That background noise is, I know.
It is getting a little bit stiffer and not incorporating as much flour. I'm actually going to go ahead and get it hooked up to my dough hook on my mixer, and I'm going to let the mixer do the rest of that. So we are hooked up to the dough mixer. I still have not incorporated all of my flour. I'm going to actually get this going for a little bit on low first, and then as the dough forms, I will decide if I want any extra flour. Thank you. Just put a little bit more in there. You can just dump it. Thank you. One more, please.
I want to save flour. Okay.
Thank you. So I'm gonna let this mixer go until the ball is kind of stiff, smooth, but pliable, and then I will show you what we do next. All right, I think our bagel dough is just about done. I have mixed it for a few minutes. I'm gonna now kind of hand knead it a little bit on my counter just to kind of see kind of how that goes.
I always put it in the sourdough.
All right, so I kneaded my dough. It is just slightly sticky, fairly stiff, and nice and smooth. So we're gonna put it in a bowl with a little bit of spray or oil just so it doesn't stick, and then we're gonna put some plastic wrap over it to let it ferment for several hours until it's roughly doubled in size. All right, he is wrapped up in his home, and I made sure it's like super airtight. I don't want any air getting in there. I am going to set him out and let him ferment for however long it takes. The recipe says like 8 to 12 hours. I've never fermented that long, but we'll see. I know that this dough technically can probably go a little bit longer because it's a little bit on the stiffer side, so we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, it has been about 8 hours since I put my dough out. It is 8 o'clock at night. I am in my nighttime formal wear, if you will. Dough has just about doubled. It's kind of hard to tell because it was in such a ball shape when I put it in, but it has definitely risen. It is also, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like super bubbly on the bottom, which tells me it's good. It's pulling away from the sides, so it hasn't over fermented. It could probably go a little longer, but it's 8 o'clock at night and I want these things done for the morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get started on them. So I'm going to dump my dough out. It's such a pretty disc. And I'm going to make, 8 bagels out of this. So I'm gonna use my cheapo scraper over here because I'm not cool enough to have a middle one. I could probably use a knife, but that would require me to go find a knife and use that. So I'm not gonna do that. Work smarter, not harder. Okay. Most of the time I would weigh these to make sure that they're rough, like that they're all the same weight, but quite honestly, I don't care. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. If I need to take a little bit off of one and add it to another, I can do that. So I have my little dough pieces. I'm just going to start shaping them into a ball. And I'm just going to do that by doing some like little mini stretch and folds in my hand. And then once I've kind of created that ball tension and it's kind of hard to fold over, I'm just going to cup my hand around it and kind of like you would with like Play-Doh, kind of roll it around on the surface and then kind of pull it towards myself to really create that tension. And then once that's done, I'm gonna move on to those. I'm gonna do the holes when I'm all done with the, ooh, I just heard an air bubble. That kind of makes me happy. My parents are coming into town the week of Christmas, and I have already been assigned to make some sourdough bread and some sourdough brownies, which I will do a vlog about that because the sourdough brownies are the best brownies on the planet, and that is the hill I will die on. They are the best, and I'm going to top them with some York peppermint bite chocolate chips because those are my mom's favorite. So I'm very excited for that. And then my mother also asked me if I could make some sourdough cinnamon rolls for everybody for Christmas morning. It'll be us, my parents, my sister, her husband, and my 2 nieces. So, all right, my last ball is just about done, and then I'm going to flatten them out just a little bit and get the holes poked. All right, so before I poke the holes, I prepped my baking tray. You can grease it, you can oil it, whatever. I like to use parchment paper, and then I also always add a thin layer of cornmeal on the bottom to add like a non-sticky surface. I just prefer, and then it kind of adds like a cool little like texture on the bottom when they're done cooking. So I've got my balls. I am now going to flatten them down just a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. My thumb right through the middle and just gently stretch out the hole in the middle. I do like to make my hole really, really big because as they do their second rise, they'll rise and puff and the hole will get a little bit smaller. Last one. So now I'm going to cover these with a tea towel and let them rise someplace warm, hopefully only for about an hour. It can go from 1 to 4, but basically just until they've risen, they've gotten puffy, and they're ready to boil. So, all right, guys, it's been just over an hour. My bagels are puffed up and ready to go. So now I'm going to boil some water. Once it starts boiling, I'm going to add a little bit of baking soda and some brown sugar. And then I'll boil the bagels, get them in the oven, and they'll be done in about 25 minutes. So, all right, the water is almost boiling. As soon as it gets to a rolling boil, I'm going to add some baking soda and some brown sugar, and then I'm actually going to bring the boil down just a little bit. And I have a spatula because my slotted spoon is dirty, and could I be doing dishes right now? Yes. Am I going to? No. And then I also have a chopstick. I saw someone comment on a video one time that getting in there and like swirling it around with a chopstick will help break open the hole a little bit if they've puffed up a lot. And I have never tried that. So I thought maybe I was feeling a little bit brave. Ooh! Science. A little brave, and I was going to try that tonight. We'll see. I don't know. Also, I probably should have measured my baking soda. I didn't. It's gonna be okay, I promise. So this chopstick is so sentimental. I had a really good friend of mine in high school who spent some time in Japan studying in college, and as a wedding gift, she got my husband and I custom chopsticks, and I still have them. We've been married for, it'll be, oh my gosh, the math. It'll be 12 years married next week. And every time I see these chopsticks, I think of her. So, all right, first bagel is going into the spa. All right, Most recipes tell you to boil on each side for like a minute. I don't like doing it quite that long. I don't like my bagels quite that crusty, but 30 seconds or so is decent. I'm just trying to avoid overboiling at this point. This is possibly the best shaped bagel I've ever had. It's so smooth. And I'm so bummed because I just know that it's gonna get like, oh, boil over. Super wrinkly when it goes in there, which makes me sad. All right, that was my last one. Still looking really good. I'm gonna put it on. Probably time to turn that off. Cleaning that all up tomorrow. That's a tomorrow problem. Okay, bagels are going in for 20 to 25 minutes. Look at that bagel. I think that's gonna be mine. We're gonna deem that my bagel because it's just perfect. Okay, here. Okay. In we go. 20 to 25 minutes. I will bring you guys back when I bring them out. All right, they are out of the oven. They took just under 20 minutes, so a little less than normal. And I even did a little internal check to make sure that they had reached temperature because they were getting kind of brown, but they look so good. I am so excited to have one tomorrow morning. That's my bagel right there. That's the one I want. Maybe that one. Either one of those would be acceptable. They turned out really, really good though. I'm really excited. All right, it is time for me to let these guys cool and I'm going to bed. Have a good night. All right, I just cut one open and they look so good and I cannot wait to try them. Look how delicious that looks. I don't know if you can see it.